Hello there. We're still out here. I'm Rev.
And I'm Sam.
And we are going around America's Great Loop.
Welcome to What Yacht To Do. Today we're going to tell you about our journey from Boca Chica, Naval Air Station in Key West, where we went to Skipjack Marina, and guess what? We saw some manatees, got some great shot of manatees.
Right, so our trip from Key West to Marathon. That's what we're going to talk about today.
There it is, Boca Chica Marina, and we are heading on out.
But we wanted you to see what the marina looks like. They have a cute little beach over on the side, tables and everything.
Which you discovered on the last day.
You know, right? That's a terrible time to find out.
We had a great time there. It is just like a family there, and it was kind of like being back in the military for me.
Yeah.
Lots of great folks there.
Right. The morning that we left, the water was so calm and still. If you were learning how to drive a boat, that would be the day to learn, because it was awesome.
It was like glass, and we departed and went out the channel.
We did. There are people that stay at Boca Chica all the time. They have purchased boats, they park it there, and the marina, you can park there for 4 years before they kick you out.
Yeah, they just changed that.
Yeah,
they used to be able to stay there forever, and now it's a 4-year thing. So they're going to be going through some growing pains with that. There's the channel going out to the Atlantic.
Yeah, the channel, we really had to stay in the middle of that, because as you can see, they're shoaling over there.
Well, we always want to stay in the middle of the channel.
Until they tell you to hug the reds or the greens.
Right.
Yeah.
But, so there it is, lucky number 13, and a resident pelican on there.
Yep.
How cool.
We really hadn't seen many pelicans. They're kind of new, and just want to make sure we capture them.
We are out of the channel and now into the Atlantic, going on the outside, as they say. And it was a nice day. We're a little bit of pitching and rolling, but mild. It is very calm, as you can see. And we have about a 30-mile run on the outside. I think it was a total of 40 miles, so about maybe 30, 35 miles on the outside. And while we went slow, we also went fast as well, trying to time it so that we could get in there on the high tide.
Yeah, we could not have picked a better day to go out. I was kind of nervous, you know, when you hear about going out there to the ocean, but it was so smooth. Look at that, and the color of the water.
All right, we are about 2 hours from arrival at Skipjack Marina in Marathon, and so we slowed down. We're running about 1200 RPM, pretty efficient speed there, and that's giving us about 9 miles per hour. Seas are kind of gently rolling, and we have crab pots out here, so we're keeping an eye on crab pots. And one of the reasons we slowed down is we want to try to arrive, you know, at the peak of high tide. So if you kind of look at the chart plotter here, you'll see, grab a pen here, you see some blue rectangles, and we focus in on one of those rectangles, we can see, oh, there's a little triangle underneath of it. It's giving us information about the tide. So we know the tide is rising. We check that in our pre-flight or our planning. Excuse me about using that. But so as I zoom in on one of these things, it says it's 8 feet above normal, and it is rising. So we do know that that in fact is happening. That's a good cross-check. As we come into our area, the tide is rising all the way into where we're going. So a little bit about that. And navigation, we are actually right on the magenta line. And we'll come back here and see that the autopilot in fact is engaged. And we are tied to the system here. Now in front of us, grab pan around, is some crab pots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to elect to come to the right, and this is going to disengaged the autopilot and now put it in heading hold. It took us off of our track, and we got a speed source alert there. That's kind of normal. But there we're heading hold, and there's our crab pots. I came 10 degrees to the starboard and missed those crab pots. And now what we'll do is we'll come back here, and I'll just take that 10 degrees out and come back, pretty much paralleling the course here and keeping an eye out for crab pots. So a nice gentle 9 miles an hour, kind of thinking about arrival into there. Maybe as we're going and we don't see any crab pots, I'll zoom in and refresh my memory about some of the areas that we will come across as we make our arrival into Boot Key Harbor. There's a lot of obstacles in there, so I just kind of want to go through that again in my head while things are a little bit slow here. So kind of what you're doing during the cruise portion. A lot of people ask, oh gosh, what do you do during the cruise portion? Well, you got to stay a step ahead. What's the next phase of the journey, which is arrival. All right, so we did decide to speed up a little bit, and you can see some of the salt spray coming onto the boat there. We do have 3 windshield wipers up above. If it gets too bad, we'll turn those windshield wipers on. But as we get into Marathon, we're going to have to wash all that salt spray off.
This is us going down the channel on the way to Marathon, our marina, specifically Skipjack.
Yeah, the entrance into Boot Key Harbor, and you really want to try to hug those greens, but we had a couple boats coming out that were also hugging the green, so we're trying to get as close as we can to that because there's a lot of shoaling in that area. Yeah,
really shallow in this part. And we continued down the channel and saw some sights. There is a place to fuel up, and a lot of places where boats are docked down that channel there, and
then just a ton of boats that are moored in Boot Key Harbor. People actually are on a waiting list to get a mooring ball from the city marina that owns that. So you can kind of see out there, there's just a ton of boats in the mooring field. We'll go through a bridge that I guess is disassembled, or kind of a bridge to nowhere that you saw there. Turn into
that's more boats than I have ever seen in my life, anchored or moored. And you know anything about that bridge?
No, it's just a bridge to nowhere.
Bridge to nowhere.
I guess it's an old bridge, and it just decided, hey, I'll find a different way to get to that part of the island.
Yep, so we did finally make it to Skipjack, and Skipjack is a resort and a marina, and you can see boats are lined up. This was a different kind of docking for us. There's a lot of pilings. And so on one side, there on the starboard side of the boat, we only had pilings to tie up to. And then on the port side, there was a dock that went, would you say halfway? Not even halfway up the side.
Enough to be able to get on and off the boat, and that was about it.
Right.
Not much there, but
we've had to learn how to tie up different ways.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, it's a resort, so we did have access to their swimming pool. There on the side of the pool is like a little tiki bar, and you could order some things. In the back is a restaurant, but it was closed for renovation, and so it wasn't open.
We did catch up with our friends on At Ease and had some time with them on their boat and saw this wonderful sunset out there.
There are a couple marinas here. There's Skipjack, and then next door was, what was that? Sombrero. Mm-hmm. And speaking of pelicans, we saw so many pelicans at Skipjack on those pilings that I mentioned before.
And they all had their own piling, it seemed, and then sometimes they also liked the bow of the boat and decorated the bow of the boat for me, so I had to go and wash that off every once in a while.
Oh, wasn't that fun?
And here they are.
Yep.
Yes, we finally got really great pictures of a couple of manatees.
Right. We saw a mama and a baby. There's the baby. And they like the water that comes out of the side of our boat, you know, from the air conditioning. So that mama stayed there for quite some time. And There was a daddy we heard, but he wasn't with them.
All right, and here you can see clearly on the back of the mama is a scar there, looks like from a propeller. So you really do need to slow down and be mindful that the manatees are out there. They're protected species. And be slow, be kind.
But they're really out there. They're not just unicorns.
Yeah, we finally did see them. And speaking about seeing people, as I found an old high school friend, Patty, and it was her birthday. Hadn't seen her in 48 years, so shout out to Patty and her husband Dennis, who we spent 2 evenings with.
Yes.
It was great to catch up.
Went to Sparky's Island. What was that? Island
and
Fish
then,
House and
Sunset Grill. What a beautiful sunset. That's the 7 Mile Bridge that you saw there.
We also went to the 11th annual
Sunset celebration. Yeah, the
celebration.
11th annual Sunset Celebration for the loopers put on by the Hospodars. And there was 140 people there.
Well, that's who signed up.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the
close to 100
total
people,
was.
I think.
Yeah.
And
That's
presentation
good
there
crowd.
about the used boat market and some drinks and food. And
Hey.
then also, we
Right.
got together with some friends.
Yep, that's Courtesy and Aquaman and Compass Rose and Life's Travails.
Yes, and so had a great time at Faro Blanco.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming along on this trip. It was a short trip to get there, but we stayed there for 2 weeks, and we had a lot of fun packed in there.
And go check out number 90 on our blog. We keep track of every time we move the boat, and our blog post has a lot more pictures of that trip.
Yeah, we'd like to hear from you. So there's 3 ways that you could actually comment on this particular trip. One is the blog that Rev just mentioned. The other is on this YouTube video. Drop down and hit the comments there and comments, questions that you have. And another way, if you just want to be something private, is have something private to talk about, is crew at What Yacht To Do. So we love hearing from you, and we'll see you on our next trip on What Yacht To Do.